'Twas the week before Thanksgiving, and all through Tinkle Sports, not a Christmas tree in sight. Take lessons, folks. It ain't Christmas yet. Alright, I'm sorry. I just had to throw that out there. We're here for Tinkle Sports Talk. Happy Thanksgiving week, guys. Yeah, we're ready to get going here. Of course, coming up today, we're going to talk some takeaways from week number 10. We got our week 11 and Thanksgiving Day predictions for the NFL. And a tinkle on this that's interesting, to say the least. But we start off, of course, with the breaking news. Breaking news as of Thursday. Shohei Ohtani has become the second ever Japanese-born player to win an MVP award. He did so on Thursday, joining Ichiro Suzuki, his lifelong idol, in that category. And then, of course, on the NL side, we had Bryce Harper win the NL MVP. So, I guess, were there any surprises here in these announcements of the MVPs?
Nah, Bryce Harper, he's, he was also a former cover athlete, so I guess it doesn't shock me anymore. Ohtani, probably. Go for him to be the second Japanese player to ever win the MVP.
Sorry, I was blocking my face. But Ohtani, I'm not shocked either, to be honest. Ohtani had a great year. He did decent pitching. He started out looking like he was going to win. I mean, you heard me say it on the show, I think back in March or April. I said I wouldn't be shocked if Ohtani won Cy Young and MVP. Again, this was like 6-7 months ago I was saying this, because he was just off to a hot start. Then for a little bit there, it looked like it was going to be Vlad Guerrero Jr., and he very much could have won this AL race, and I don't think people would have been upset. Now, you look at the NL race, it was kind of, I didn't pay enough attention to the NL to notice, but, Bryce Harper's a talented player, like you said. He deserves to win awards like this. But, again, the AL one, to me, not a surprise. He really was dominant all year. It's just a shame he couldn't keep it going on the pitching side, because if he did, he probably would have been the the first one since Verlander to win Cy Young and MVP in the same year.
Right. Seemed on pace for it, but just...
Yeah, mid-season slump.
Yeah, fate just didn't go his way at all.
Of course, that's unfortunate. Short little recap there of the MVP award. But let's move on to our takeaways. And I do remember this week who started it off. So I did it last week to start off. Jason's going to start it off this week.
Alright, so starting off with my takeaway. This is the Josh Allen we all expected to do well this time. The offense of Josh Allen, quarterback for the Buffalo Bills, has a big bounce back game. 21 for 29, 366, and two TDs. Defense definitely came up big. Of course, I'll talk about that in my next point. But the thing is, I want to know is, can he just keep the momentum going? Is this a spark that the Bills needed to have a run? Probably think that it can be. I just need to see a little bit more consistency out of both sides of the ball. Actually, more consistency out of all three sides of the football. I think the offense needs to be a lot more consistent. I've seen a lot more consistency in that game against the Jets. Yes, I know it's the Jets. They're not really all that great. But they have a decent enough defense to bring pressure, and they did on Josh Allen. but I think Josh Allen looked a lot more composed in the pocket. He was taking his time. Yeah, he took some sacks, but for the most part, he cleaned up what was there. And if I know anything about the Jets, or if you know anything about Stephon Diggs, don't play single coverage against him. You're just gonna get burned every single time. He has the most receiving yards of active receivers right now against single coverage, with over 1,400 yards against single coverage, and that beats out Tyreek Hill. That's just amazing to think about to me.
Yeah,
but
and can I just say as well, you mentioned Josh Allen taking sacks. This is good because, normally taking a sack is never a great thing. But when you're throwing or attempting to throw the football away, you're taking intentional grounding calls, you're just making poor decisions on the way down. At that point, you just take the sack. That's something him and Patrick Mahomes both need to learn how to do because they both don't do a good job of holding on to the ball. At that point, just take the sack, okay?
Right.
And that's the one thing these young quarterbacks need to learn.
You're right. They definitely need to learn how to do it. The same thing with sliding. I know you're a big-bodied 6'5" quarterback, but you need to learn that you're just as much of a human being as everybody else on that football field. And if you don't protect yourself, you're going to be seriously hurt, and then you're going to be thinking, maybe I should have slid right then and there. Yeah, I do like that he does put his body on the line to get extra yardage, but please, for the love of God, you're going to get to one of these years, Josh, that you're not going to be as agile as you used to be, and you're going to be doing that, and you're going to get hurt, and you're going to be like, well, maybe I should have took the safe approach. But I'm not going to go too deep into that. I'm going to go on to my next point, which is kind of the similar aspect. If there's anybody that just needs to learn how to shut up and lead the talk into the field, it's Mike White. Thinks, oh, well, I should have been first overall pick. I should have been drafted over Josh Allen. Well, let me tell you something, Mike White. Throwing 4 picks against the top-rated defense shows that the Cowboys were right in choosing you in the 5th round, because you played like a 5th rounder in that game against the Bills. The Jets had 5 turnovers in total, but Mike White himself threw 4 interceptions. Had no touchdowns. It's kind of sad when Joe Flacco, who hasn't really played at all this whole entire year,
hasn't been relevant in the last 5, by the way,
goes in there and scores 17 points. Actually, not 17. He scores 14, because I think the Jets had like 3 points with Mike White or something like that. He goes there and scores a couple, scores a touchdown and turns around. Enough to get him to start over Mike White. That just proves that the Jets quarterback situation, it's going to take some time to finally find that franchise quarterback, because as of right now, I don't think they got one that's like screaming, oh, he's the quarterback of the future right now. But
can I just say that real quick? I've said it at least 3 times on this show now. Let's not write off Zach Wilson just yet, because again, he's still, like I said, Josh Allen progressed slow. There were times, there were times before last year I thought Josh Allen was a bust. I'm not going to lie to you there. Because he looked decent enough to get the job done, but he didn't flash like franchise quarterback. Maybe he'll eventually get there for Zach Wilson, but this year just isn't that year.
No.
So, I just wanted to stop you there on that.
Don't get me wrong, I will say this before I move on to my third and final takeaway. There is a lot of similarities to Josh Allen and Zach Wilson. Josh Allen had a crappy year where he threw more picks than touchdowns. Look at Zach Wilson. Josh Allen was also hurt his first year. Look at Zach Wilson. So, there's a little bit of similarities. I would like to see Zach Wilson have success in the NFL because I think he's a quarterback that has the poise to being one. But, again, right as of right now, there's just no quarterback for the Jets that scream franchise quarterback. But, moving forward to my third and final takeaway, Russell Wilson comes back from injury since week 5. But, Brian, the real question is, was it too soon? He was supposed to be... it was supposed to be like an 8-week injury.
You know what it was? It was that they were 3-5 entering this game. They knew if they kept... They knew that 11-6 wasn't going to be enough to win this division. At least entering the week, they knew that.
Yeah.
It just looked like... The highlights I saw, it just looked like Russell Wilson did not look comfortable at all in that game.
No, not at all.
And it wasn't even that the defense was making it difficult on him. Really. I mean, they probably were. I mean, they were shut out. But, I mean, it didn't look like he was getting, like, tossed around like Matt Stafford was on Monday night. So, honestly, maybe he should have sat another... I mean, what was he afraid of to come back that early? Because I can tell you right now, Geno Smith's only threat to take a job is over in the Canadian Football League. Okay? That should be the only people worried about Geno Smith taking their job because he's that bad.
No, I mean... Russell Wilson, that's the way that he was throwing the football from what I was seeing in that game. Just like, he didn't seem to have a tight, grip on the ball still. And it just... He didn't look very comfortable in that game. Mm-hmm. I will say that maybe this game that they're playing this week, Seattle will probably play better. I mean, Russell Wilson had to have that crappy game out of his way so then he can actually go back and...
You sure about that?
I mean, don't they usually always play each other really tough, or is that usually San Fran and Seattle?
Cardinals are 5-0 on the road. Not that I'm trying to skip ahead, but Cardinals are 5-0 on the road. That should just be a very big point entering this week.
Yeah, I mean, Seattle's really in a situation where they might just have to find a good backup quarterback because it's definitely not in Geno Smith.
At this point, Seattle should just try to get a higher pick.
Yeah.
Because I think the wild card's out of the discussion for him.
I'm going to say this once, and that'll be it. It's crazy how much a year makes a difference.
Yeah. Should I also just ask this question, too? Should Pete Carroll be put on the hot seat now?
He should have been on the hot seat, like, a couple different times.
But let's look at it, though. 3 young coaches in his division. Sean McVay, already been to a Super Bowl, and quite frankly looking like he might just make it to another one. Cliff Kingsbury, another one, a big Super Bowl threat now, one that we didn't think would make it this far. Then Kyle Shanahan, a proven offensive guru, maybe not a great head coach, but a really good offensive-minded head coach.
Who's been to the Super Bowl twice.
Yeah.
Well, again, he lost both.
Choked them both away. But
right.
Just saying, is there now pressure on Seattle to get a new young mind in here that can help them win?
Yeah, it would not shock me if Pete Carroll would be on the hot seat after this year.
Yeah.
But it all depends on if Seattle can really get a turnaround, because if they can't, I think it's time for that GM owner of theirs to pull a gun and be like, Pete, I don't think you're working out for us right now, and we're just gonna have to cut our ties.
Yeah.
So time will tell.
Oh yeah. Well, I guess if that's it for your points there.
Yeah, that's it.
I just didn't want to cut ahead of you. That's all.
No, you're good. That's
all
it.
All right. Let's start it off this way. There's a new era in New England, and it's looking promising very early. And I'll be clear. I'm never one to get sold on quarterbacks. I'm never one to get sold on young quarterbacks early in their career. Jason can vouch for me. I've said it about Justin Herbert. I'm not sold on him early. I think he's starting out. If he keeps improving based on this trajectory, he's going to be one of the greatest to play the game. Same with Patrick Mahomes. But I'm never one to outright say right now they're in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
And the only reason I bring that up is we just had a conversation with a friend about that. So Michael McCorkle Jones, he is leading a whole new era in New England. They are on a big winning streak right now. Honestly, they're a game behind the Bills at this point.
A game and a half.
Or a half.
Actually, no. Half a game, yeah.
Yeah, half a game behind the Bills entering Sunday. It's really starting to look like the pieces are falling together, and they don't really have flashy receivers. They have amazing tight ends, but no flashy receivers. What I will say is it's not probably going to happen this year, but boy, if this is the way this rookie year ends for Daniel Jones, or Mac Jones, I mean, if this is how it ends with the 69% completion, all these numbers that he's putting up, assuming this continues, this has got to be scary if you're a Bills fan. This has got to be scary if you're a Dolphins fan.
Oh,
because
I'm scared already because
he's only going to go up from here.
Oh, I know.
And
yeah, you would have to be scared, especially with all the other teams. I mean, I'm kind of even a little scared about the Jets because, yeah, they might not be relevant this year, but I don't know how Mike White or Zach Wilson will be next year. I mean,
I'm just going to say, I'm not going to go as far to say that the Patriots are going to become a dynasty again. I think that era in the AFC has faded away. I think it's faded away big time. But what I will say is New England is making their case. Now, every year, there's at least the last 2 years, there have been underdogs in the playoffs. Tennessee 2 years ago, no one expected Tennessee to go beat New England, go to the AFC Championship to play the Kansas City Chiefs. No one expected the Browns to win in the first round against the Steelers to go on to play the Kansas City Chiefs and almost beat them. Is this the year that New England is that team that makes the wild card and not to mention beats a really good team that is in the running in the AFC? That's the question I'm going to propose at this point.
I don't know. I was even saying it before here. I mean, it'd be cool to see him do well against like really good defenses, but all the teams of all the 6 teams, I mean, they're probably going to be very well. About the 7, how about this? Probably the like more so. I'm gonna say more so of the 6 wins that they have. Right now. of that, it doesn't really seem to be a team that they beat that just screams like, well, they had a really, really good defense. Right now,
Yeah. Well, to be fair, the Browns are kind of treading right now. They're not sinking, but they're treading water at this point. Trying to stay afloat.
they beat the Browns. They beat the the Jets twice, I think.
They beat LA, but LA isn't isn't a flashy contender.
That's why I'm not sold. Like, yeah, Mac Jones is having
But keep in mind, they still got to play Buffalo twice.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, can Mac Jones be like Mac Jones against a division rival? Because Buffalo is riding off of being undefeated against that division. And right now, they're showcasing that could very well happen again.
Can we
Not saying that...
Oh,
go ahead.
Sorry. I'll let you finish your point first.
Not saying that probably Buffalo could lose a game to New England, because I very well think it could happen. But if you look at it, say they go 6-0, Buffalo goes 6-0 again. I can't think that, because of, if that's something like that happens, I don't know if New England would be a playoff team if that was to be the case. But if New England can beat at least Buffalo once, very well could solidify them into a wild card spot.
And let me just go back to week 1, by the way. Can I just go back to week 1 when we had our first show back from the month off that we took? We both sat here and said which quarterback in this rookie class is going to have the most long-term success. And I think you and I both agreed that Mac Jones
it was going to be Mac Jones.
That guy.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. Again, if this is the beginning of it, we're in for a very long and successful and productive career on his part. But again, I think the Bills are going to be a true test for him. I don't think losing both games disqualifies them from the playoffs, because let's face it, the AFC is wide open right now. Okay.
True.
But I will say, what they've done in these last few games, I know it's not against the best of teams, but what I will say is beating the Browns as bad as they did, that should count for something. Even if Nick Chubb was out, because D'Ernest Johnson has been phenomenal in the games that he's replaced Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Okay, he's been nothing short of spectacular. Because again, he has overexceeded his expectations.
True.
So now let's lead into the second point. Speaking of New England quarterbacks, there's one who ended up back on an NFL roster this week. We didn't expect him to play this year. He did. He suited up for Carolina this week. Of course, I'm talking about Cam Newton. He scored a touchdown. Actually, I believe 2 touchdowns, but didn't have many yards. Of course, he screams, "I'm back!"
They're scoring his rushing touchdown.
Here's the thing. Are you buying it or not that Cam Newton is back?
No, probably not, because I do think that him and Carolina make a really good pairing. Don't get me wrong, because that's where he's had his best years in his career, were with Carolina. I'm not saying that he can't have success, but he also went up against the Cardinals team that didn't have Kyler Murray.
But he still won against a top defense in the NFL.
That's true. Yes, he did. What I find hilarious is that he got asked by the media, is like, how much of the playbook did you know? he said, "Well, 2 touchdowns worth,"
Yep.
and that's all he needed. It
They
was
asked him too, what were you doing in this time? Eating a bowl of cereal. What, did he not? But
something like that.
you know, Cam Newton, for all intents and purposes, did not fit that New England system. We knew it wasn't going to work out there. He was destined for failure there. Okay, that system benefits pocket quarterbacks, kind of out-of-shape quarterbacks. I mean, let's face it, Tom Brady, in the beginning of his career, was no supermodel. He was no Arnold Schwarzenegger by any means. He was no bodybuilder.
I know, it's kind of crazy how similar Mac Jones is to Brady when he was a rookie. They're already kind of comparing the two.
And it's almost eerily similar.
It is. It's kind of creepy of how similar they are, but
But again, let's be fair though. He had no chance to succeed in New England. None.
No.
And I'm not going to sugarcoat it there. He had chances to succeed in Carolina. And he's done so. Here's the thing. He made, forget the yardage, include the touchdowns here. He made a huge impact in this game. I think, honestly, if we're going to talk about it, he wasn't paired with the right coach his last few years. That's my honest opinion, because let's face it, look at what Ron Rivera's done in Washington. Need I say more this year? And don't give me the Ryan Fitzpatrick's been hurt. Their offensive line's banged up. Chase Young just tore his ACL. All that aside, the first 9 or 10 games, they really haven't been that spectacular. And it's getting to the point where how much more are you going to defend? How much more is this media going to defend Ron Rivera as a great head coach in the league? He had 1 Super Bowl run, and Cam Newton's career year. Congratulations. You had Kelvin Benjamin, who was still a pretty elite receiver then.
Right.
Okay. Look at where Kelvin Benjamin is now. He's probably
out of the league.
He's probably frying burgers at McDonald's right now, for all we know. But you know, that's all I'm gonna say on that. I'm cautiously buying it, is what I'm gonna say, as far as Cam Newton's back. I think this week, you know, now without Chase Young, it's not gonna be very telling. But I think over the next few games, it's going to be very telling. If Cam Newton's back. I have said about the Chargers a few weeks ago to those who said, oh, the Chargers are great. They're playing great football. They're going to be AFC contenders. They're going to win the West. They might just make the Super Bowl. To those guys, I said a few weeks ago, take a step back. I'm going to say the same thing here about Kansas City. Take a step back. They're not just there. Here's the thing. I will give Kansas City credit where it is due. It was a convincing win. By all means, it was a convincing win against a pretty decent Raiders team this year. But, and here's the but. Actually, a few of them. One, can we say that we expected it? Because of the fact that Gus Bradley has no answers? Okay, Gus Bradley has absolutely no answers for the Kansas City offense as far as his coaching resume goes. That's number one. And number two, let's face it, Kansas City, even though they beat them, there hasn't been a meaningful win yet. And to be honest, there's still a lot of issues with that defense, and it's still, I wouldn't say any issues with the offense, but I'm just telling you, they did not do what most teams did on defense against Kansas City. So they still got to get that figured out.
Right.
Again, You can call me a hater. You can call me what you want because I'm a Chargers fan. But I'm telling you, I'm not buying Kansas City. If for my intents and purposes, you want to know who the AFC Contenders are, it's the Titans, number 1, Bills, number 2 right now. Plain and simple. And again, just recall the Darwin... You can call it the Hummel theory of football right now. Yes, I'm going to steal Darwin's theory. I'm sorry. I'm probably going to get sued, but... yeah, that's my theory, though, right now. Is that Tennessee, because they've beaten all these good teams, they are the team to beat in the AFC.
Yeah, and they're not just 8-2 for nothing.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess that means it's a good time to take a break here. When we come back, we'll have our Week 11 game predictions as well as our Thanksgiving Day predictions. So it's going to be a big prediction week on our end here on Tinkle Sports Talk.
So.
And then, of course, we got Tinkle on this. Pretty good one for the week. You don't want to miss it. But we'll be back in just under a minute, or in just about a minute. As we go to break, though, you see the No Shave November week number 4. Is it week number 3? I think it's week number 3.
I think it's week 3.
So take a look at the week 3 results. Of course, we will be uploading the official week 3 results on our social media. You should be able to see it very soon. So check out our Instagram or our Facebook at, oh my gosh, my mic's blocking it, at Tinkle Sports for the updates, and be sure to donate to our team. The link is in the description. Until then, we'll be right back. All right, the biggest prediction week of the year, I think. I'm not counting necessarily, but I believe this is it because we got to include 3 Thursday games in this. But we'll start off with the Sunday games for this week. Colts and Bills. Bills a 7-point favorite.
Yeah, I'm feeling good about this game. I'm gonna go with the Bills because last time Buffalo played up against the Indy at home, spelled good results in the playoffs last year, so I'm thinking that Buffalo will do good, but I'm not taking this game lightly. Indy is still within that playoff race, so I think I'm expecting this to be a good game. I think it'll be closer than 7 points.
Yeah, I think it's going to be closer. The Colts are starting to gain a little bit of traction right now. They're 5-5, but the Bills are also gaining traction. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Bills here just because that defense, I think they have the answer for Jonathan Taylor. That's my honest opinion there.
I'm hoping so.
We know for sure they're going to have the answer for Carson Wentz, but that's beside the point. Ravens and Bears, man, we might not see Lamar Jackson on Sunday. I don't know. I've been hearing rumors he's sick with a non-COVID illness. But as of right now, Baltimore's a 4.5 favorite.
I don't think it really matters if Lamar is in or if it's RG3.
It's not RG3 anymore. I don't know who their backup is.
No, it's probably that
RG3 is with the ESPN now. It's Tyler Huntley.
Oh goodness. I still think that Huntley can do something with Baltimore, but if it's Lamar, Ravens. If it's not Lamar, you know what? I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna go Baltimore over Chicago.
Yeah, Baltimore. I'm not gonna question it. It's Baltimore at this point, regardless of who starts. Chicago's a mess. Lions and Browns. The Browns are an 11.5 favorite, and I would say, personally, before I even make my pick, that's a little generous.
Doesn't look very good with Cleveland going up against the Lions. Lions, you finally did it. You didn't lose a week. Congrats.
You're
finally
picking
didn't...
them with David Blau?
But,
Possibly.
no, I said, no, I'm congratulating them that last week they did.
Yeah.
They finally didn't lose a game for once. But
Wait.
no, I'm going Cleveland over Detroit.
Yeah. I think they get Nick Chubb back this week, so I'm going to go with Cleveland here. But I think it's going to be closer than that 11.5 favorite that they're calling it. Texans, Titans 10.5. Is this a game we have to pick?
No. Like, this is pretty obvious.
It's very clear that Tennessee doesn't need Derrick Henry to win, so I'm going to go Tennessee.
I'm going Tennessee as well.
Packers, Vikings, Green Bay, a 1.5 favorite, which I guess is okay.
I don't understand that. I mean, I really don't. Like, yeah,
Divisional.
I get it's divisional. They play each other really tough. But Green Bay just has answers for their division as of late. I mean, Minnesota always gives them a tough time, more so than Chicago and in Detroit. I'm going to say Green Bay.
Green Bay.
Aaron Rodgers is going to keep on, riding the hot wave. So Green Bay over Minnesota.
Yep, Green Bay. I'm not going to question it. Kirk Cousins has kind of gone under the radar with a really good year, though. That's what I'm going to say. I just read his stat line for the year, and he's been really under the radar as far as the MVP discussion has gone. So, this could be a good matchup, though. Anyway, Dolphins and Jets. Miami is a 3-point favorite.
Got Joe Flacco against Tua. It's going to be an interesting matchup. I'm going to go with Miami. I think Miami's defense will be enough to make Joe Flacco look almost as bad as Mike White. But probably not as bad, but still make him turn over the ball a bunch of different times. So I'm going Miami.
Can we propose this question? A hypothetical one at that. Let's assume Joe Flacco started the game last week against the Bills. Let's just assume that right now. I'm going to try to make this quick because we still got a lot of picks to get through. But assume Joe Flacco started. Keep in mind, you said he scored about 14 of those points. Had he started, could this game been a lot closer? Maybe a little bit more respectable last week?
Yeah, I would
you
say
argue
so.
that?
I think he... No, I think you're probably right. I think he would have made it respectable. He would have made it very competitive. And I think he would have also got a lot of the guys that really didn't get the ball. Like, Corey Davis didn't really get involved.
Yeah.
James Crowder really didn't get involved. Joe Flacco was somebody that probably would have gotten those guys involved in that game. And then you would have had a 45-17 blowout.
You probably would have had a 27-17 type game.
Yeah.
I think you could argue. Okay, so you've answered exactly how I expected it to be answered. I'm going to be honest. I'm expecting that this division is going to flip in that, in the lower tier part of the division. I think the slots are going to switch here. I'm going to go with the Jets on this game. I think Flacco... Here's the thing. There's one thing Flacco can do that Zach Wilson and Mike White can't do right now. And what Joe Flacco brings to the table is he can read defenses. He's done it for 14, 15 years now, I believe.
Yeah.
He's been in the league a really long time. And if there's one thing Joe Flacco has learned, and it's not real complicated, it's how to read defenses. So I'm just going to say the only thing he really has to do is just don't throw Xavier Howard's way. So Jets by 3. That's my honest opinion there. Saints, Eagles, Philly a 2-point favorite.
Wow. I'm just shell-shocked that they think that Philadelphia is going to be the... Nope. I think that's totally wrong. I think Philadelphia is not going to win. I think it's going to be New Orleans.
You know what? I'm going with Philly, honestly. I'm not going to lie to you. Jalen Hurts is another one kind of flying under the radar this year. Devontae Smith is having a pretty good rookie year right now. The Saints don't have a real quarterback right now. Jameis is done for the year. Trevor Siemian has and never will be the answer for any team as far as a quarterback goes. It showed the last few weeks. I'm going Philly. Anyway, former coach versus former quarterback. It was announced that Cam Newton is likely to start on Sunday. Washington, Carolina 3.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Carolina. It's just something about this year that Taylor Heineke is just he's just not that good.
Yeah. The presence of Chase Young is going to be missed. Okay.
Oh yeah, clearly.
No denying it. It's going to be missed. That said, they don't really have someone that can rush Cam Newton. I'm going to go Carolina. And I think Cam Newton's going to have an impressive game. I'm going to make that bold prediction. I think he's going to have a lot of rushing yards, and I think he's going to complete about 65% of his passes. 49ers, Jaguars, San Fran a 6.5 favorite. Do we even have to pick this one?
Yeah, San Fran makes the most sense.
San Fran shell-shocked LA last week, the Rams. I think they're starting to come back to life, and I think they're going to fight their way back into that NFC wildcard race. So, San Fran by a mile. Bengals, Raiders, Cincy 1-point favorites.
Makes you really wonder if Joe Flacco is eating those words that he said.
I mean, Joe Burrow?
Yeah, Joe Burrow. Not Joe Flacco, Joe Burrow. It always makes you wonder if he's really eating those words he said. But I think this is the week that they turn it around against the Vegas Raiders. I think that Jamar Chase is going to have himself a really fantastic game against the Raiders as well.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Cincy. I think Vegas is starting to derail right now. I think the Kansas City game proved it. That was a game they should have won, honestly. Anyway, 4:25 games now. Cowboys, Chiefs. Chiefs a 2.5 favorite.
I don't like that. I really don't.
Okay.
You know, I'm gonna go with the boys. I hate to say it. I mean, I just think that, you know, Dak will just overpower that Chiefs defense, and it'll just be way too much for Kansas City to deal with. So I honestly really do think that the Dallas Cowboys are going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs and go to 8-2.
Can I be honest here that this is going to be the oversell game before I make my pick? This is going to be the oversell game of the week. Okay? Because on one side, if the Cowboys win, they're going to call themselves the lead favorites for the Super Bowl if they beat Kansas City. Because of the fact that Kansas City's been to the Super Bowl the last 2 years. Then on the other side, you've got Kansas City that is in the who has struggled. They're trying to really put themselves back in the AFC picture. And this kind of win against a Cowboys team that's rolling shows, hey, we're still a threat here. And if they win that game, now they're back as a favorite. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
So, to be honest, this is just a game where fan base ego is really going to take over at the end of it on one side or the other. But the Cowboys didn't look good against the Broncos. They looked very bad against them. I think the same is going to be said about the Chiefs there. But I do think it's going to be closer. So I'm going to go Chiefs. Anyway, but I will say, don't get overhyped if the Cowboys win, and don't get overhyped if the Chiefs win, because to me, they don't improve their chances off of that game. And this is not a Super Bowl preview, okay? Let me stress that again. This game, and I will look right into the camera and tell you this, okay, to the Cowboys and the Chiefs fans, this is not a Super Bowl preview. It will never be a Super Bowl preview for this year. Okay, and if I'm wrong, I will say so in February. Anyway, Cardinals Seahawks. Arizona 2.5 favorites. We don't know the status of Kyler Murray, though. It should be noted.
I think Arizona is going to beat Seattle. Yeah, I'll suck that they won't have, that they could possibly be without Kyler Murray for the third week in a row, but I don't think it's going to matter. I think Colt McCoy will be able to be enough. If not, Kyler Murray returning will be enough.
It's very apparent that Kyler Murray's presence is missed. The other thing is, will Deandre Hopkins play? That's going to be another big question that I forgot to answer. If one or both of them doesn't play, I like Seattle in this game because the 12-man is, honestly, Seattle's the toughest place to play in the NFL.
It's also one of the loudest stadiums in the NFL, too.
So, I like Seattle, to be honest. So I'm going to go Seattle in this game. What the heck. Steelers-Chargers in a game where the pass rushers should have been the highlight of this game because T.J. Watt, Joey Bosa are both the top-paid defensive ends in the league. Both of them arguably the top two in the league. And they will not be able to face against each other because they're both out with COVID. Or one's out with COVID, the other one is out with an injury. So Chargers are a 6-point favorite, though.
I'm probably going to go with the Chargers over the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think that offense is going to finally click.
I'm going to go with the Chargers, too. No TJ Watt on that defensive side is always spelling trouble. We don't know the status of Big Ben, and to be honest, the Chargers have really kind of run the table with the Steelers the last few times we faced off, so I expect that to continue here. Giants and Buccaneers. Buccaneers an 11-point favorite. Are we just going to go with the spread here at this point?
Yeah, Tampa Bay over the Giants.
Yeah, Tampa Bay Without question. I think this is the game they get their act together. Anyway, now on to the big Thanksgiving Day matchups. Let's start with the Bears and the Lions. There's no spread yet on that game. I can't believe it. The only game on this list with no spread.
I'm going to go with the Bears.
I'm going to go with the Lions here. I think they finally end the Thanksgiving Day expected loss cycle of things. So, I'm going to go Bears. Or Lions, because also I think Swift will take over this game.
Could very well happen.
Yeah. 4:30, Raiders and Cowboys. Cowboys a 7-point favorite.
Yeah. Cowboys will be winning again. I can't see them losing to the Raiders.
And so begins the downward slide for the Raiders. Cowboys win. That's my prediction. And then the Raiders will fall to 5-6. Thursday night football on NBC. It's the Bills and the Saints. The Bills are 4.5 favorites.
Yeah. See, if Jameis was in there, I would probably say like it would have been closer, but the Saints are just not that good of a team. Buffalo, if it is still Trevor Siemian at that point, I just cannot see him doing that well against that top Bills defense.
The only thing would be taking Kamara out of the game, assuming Kamara plays.
I will say it will be not an easy task, but it's not going to be the kind of blowout it was the last time the Bills and the Saints played each other in Buffalo. This time it's going to be probably a Buffalo Bills onslaught. I'm just going to say that now. I'm not going to predict any score. I'm not really going to talk much about the game, but don't be shocked if Buffalo comes into New Orleans and racks up the points.
Yeah. I'm going to go Bills, but if Kamara plays, it'll be close. If Kamara doesn't play, I expect a blowout. Plain simple. Bills will run the table. So that's the predictions for the week. Boy, we had a lot. We won't see a lot of these until after the bye weeks are done. Again, so... But hey, next week's will be pretty easy because we don't have as many games thanks to the Thanksgiving games. So, at least we knocked out 3 games. Anyway, let's get on to Tinkle on this. And this is actually a video I just sent to Jason a little while ago. So, for those who have followed Out of Turn 4 over the last few months, for those who have followed the NASCAR world the last year, actually the last 3 years, technically, we know that 2022 is going to bring major changes. The next-gen car... it's very anticipated. It's supposed to cut costs. It's supposed to make for better racing. And so far, the tests have proved it's living up to the hype. Well, in the garage area, Corey LaJoy of Spire Motorsports decided to have a little fun. He wanted to play Jackman. And let's just say when he went to push down on the jack to push the car up, he went down with the jack and couldn't get it fully down. Corey, to drive a big car like that, did you just skip arm day, my friend? Okay, I actually tweeted that to Corey LaJoy. Did you skip arm day this week? Okay, dude, sun's out, guns out. I know these aren't that impressive. I'm not gonna show off too much, but dude, come on. Focus on your arms, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, you don't have to go crazy and have like, super big biceps or anything like that, but at least work,
Come on.
lift some weights there, and for that.
Yeah, tinkle on this, Corey LaJoy. Man. Oh,
You're making everybody cringe.
You're making a bad name for a lot of people there. Come on, man.
I know. Exactly.
Corey, come on. All right, that's all we got for this week. We want to actually wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. To my knowledge, we will be on next Sunday. Even though it is a holiday, we'll find a way to record. We'll get another episode up for you guys. But again, we want to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. On the other side of it, just a little note going back to the beginning of the show. Don't start your Christmas music until at least Friday, please and thank you.
Yeah, please.
I've already heard Christmas music everywhere I've gone. I went to, for those who don't know, Crumble Cookie. It is actually a national chain. So, Crumble Cookies, I went in there was Christmas music on in there. Department stores like Burlington have it on. Can we just start that argument right now? I think we're both on the same page. It's too soon to play Christmas music.
You should probably start doing it the day after Thanksgiving. That's typically when it's fine.
It's still obnoxious, but it's typical.
Right.
So, all right. Actually, before we go as well, a little something I didn't have on the script. What's the go-to pie for Thanksgiving here? As we're gonna skip into dessert.
Oh, it's either pumpkin roll or pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin, yeah. I will tell you though, I got a cannoli pie this Thanksgiving. This should be very good. I'm out of work at 4:30 or 5 o'clock, so that's the first thing I'm looking forward to outside of having a few beers.
I'm only working 7 to 12, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, lucky. All right. But on that note, feel free to actually comment your favorite desserts at the bottom there. But can I just say as well, apple pie, I'm going to start a war here on social media. Apple pie is not a go-to for me. No bueno.
If I'm going to do apple pie, I'd rather do a homemade apple pie.
Homemade anything is always the way to go.
Yeah.
Marie Callender's, I'd actually like to do a shout out to them. Marie Callender's, please bring back the peanut butter pie. I think you tried this the one year I brought it over or something, because me and another friend had a heated discussion on the Edwards Reese's peanut butter cup pie and the Marie Callender's peanut butter pie. And Marie Callender's, I think everyone voted in favor of that over the Reese's one for Edwards. So Marie Callender's, please bring back the peanut butter pie. This isn't funny. This isn't a joke. This was your best pie. Bring it back. Sorry. This has gone from sports talk to Thanksgiving dessert talk. Very quick. But I figure it's a very important subject because we'll all be passed out watching football after eating this. And I want to pass out happy. Okay. Maybe not Jason. Jason will be screaming at the TV probably about the Bills game. But hey.
Or vice versa.
Alright, but on that note, let's actually cut it off here. Thanks for watching, guys. We will see you next Sunday. Until then, hope you guys get some good deals on Black Friday. Hope you guys enjoy the food coma on Thanksgiving. And goodbye, everyone.